In Parshat Bo, we learn about the plague of locusts. And with regards to this, it says, there never been so many, nor there will ever be so many again. And Rashi asks on this, he says, is that really true in the book of Yoel, chapter 2? It says that there was locusts like this, and it says nothing like this had ever happened. And then it also says, it shall never happen again through the years and ages, an attack by locusts similar to this. So Rashi asks this question. He says, well, how can our Parsha be true if later on there was an account that was similar or even worse? Rashi answers that the Bible's talking about a swarm of locusts of one type. In the book of Yoel, it's talking about multiple types of locusts. There's 4 types that are listed there. So when in regards to damage caused by one type of locust, there will never be like that again. The Barbanel answers differently. He says, the Torah is talking about Egypt. There will never be such a thing in Egypt. In other places, there can be. Rav Zelik Pliskin brings a really nice explanation from the Chasam Sofer in his book, Growth Through Torah. He says that the Chasam Sofer says it's not talking about the types, nor it's talking about the location. It's talking about the destruction. The destruction in Egypt was worse, and there will never be like that again. Why? Because of all the destruction that happened beforehand, all the plagues that happened before this plague is compounded suffering, and there will never be like this again. In terms of the book of Yoel, that suffering was different because it wasn't talking about destruction from before. It's talking destruction in that moment. There will never be like that again. And Rav Zelik Pliskin says it's a really important message for us in our lives. Think about when you see somebody suffering, think about the fact that there might be other suffering going on before that. What you see on the surface is not always what's going on the inside. There's no such thing as objective pain. For you, it might be a certain type of suffering. For somebody else, there might have been many plagues or suffering that happened beforehand that could be triggering this suffering and making it worse for them. And he says that you can never really judge people, but rather ask them what they're going through, what they're feeling when you see them suffering, because suffering for you may not be what suffering is for them. That's what you learn from that plague, that on the outside it looked like there was one plague, but really there were many plagues beforehand that made this plague especially worse, the worst type of locust destruction that there could have been.